Many people believe that free market capitalism is selfish, even immoral. They say it's about greed, about hunger for money and power, that it helps the rich and hurts the poor. They're wrong. The free market is not only economically superior, it is morally superior to any other way of organizing economic behavior. Here's why. The free market calls for voluntary actions between individuals. There's no coercion. In a free market, if I want something from you, I have to do something for you. Let's say I mow your lawn and you pay me $20. What does that $20 really mean? When I go to the grocer and say, I would like to have 4 pounds of steak, he in effect says to me, you want a lot of people to serve you. Ranchers, truckers, butchers, and packagers. All these people have to be paid. What did you do to serve your fellow man? Well, I say, I mowed my fellow man's lawn. And the grocer says, prove it. Then I offer him the $20. Think of the money that you've earned as a certificate of performance.
Wow. That's a good way of looking at it. Certificate of performance. I mean, I have a goal or I have a product that I want to purchase. And in order for me to purchase this product, I have to produce a certificate of performance, as we can clearly see. And this would show that I've earned what I want, or whatever, this is my currency that I will exchange for whatever it is that I so desire. And I did it legal and lawful way, because I just now learned that those two things are completely different. Some people are lawful but not legal. Some people are both. Some people are neither. You know what I mean? But this is a good way of putting it. And I honestly don't see why capitalism is a bad thing. But based off what he said before, people look at it as greed, and like you're trying to just serve, is self-serving, and it doesn't help anybody but yourself. Obviously that's self-serving, but at the end of the day, if you're just doing it to help yourself, shouldn't that be your prerogative? But guess what? If I'm working this hard to be able to get certain things, my monies will essentially go toward taking care of or helping to grow other businesses. Because when I spend my money, like he's spending his money right now for meats, there's a whole bunch of people whose hands was in those meats. I mean, as far as the farmer, the person that produced the hay and the foods that was needed, that was necessary for the cows and whatnot to eat, plus the person that owns the store. So this person and their family will get exactly what they're trying to get out of it as well. I mean, that's why they have a store. That's why they have a business. They don't have a business just for selfish purposes. They're trying to build something. They're trying to take care of their families, send their children to college, and so forth and so on. So at the end of the day, they're positioning themselves to be able to give more back to the economy. To me, that's selfless. That's far more selfless if you're doing things like that and you're able to keep the money circulating around the community and around the country. That's, to me, I might be off, but that's what I see.
Think of the money that you've earned as a certificate of performance. It's proof that you've served your fellow man. People accuse the free market of not being moral because they say it's a zero-sum game, like poker, where if you win, it means that I have to lose. But the free market is not a zero-sum game. It is a positive-sum game. You do something good for me, such as give me that steak,
I'll do
something
something
good for you.
There you go.
Give you $20. I'm better off because I value the steak more than I value the $20. And the grocer is better off because he valued the $20 more than he valued the steak. We both win. Ironically, it's the government, not the free market, that creates zero-sum games in our economy.
Wow.
If you use the government to get a food stamp, a farm subsidy, or a business bailout, you will benefit, but at the expense of your fellow citizens.
Wow. Wow. That makes so much sense. Nothing's circulating. Everybody else is working hard, busting their tails, and they have to pay taxes. And the people who make the most are paying the most taxes. Y'all already know that. That's by a mile and a half. So the people who work the hardest are getting punished the most to give toward something that's not going to come back to them in any way, shape, or form at all. But some will argue that, isn't this the role of the federal government? How would y'all answer that? If somebody say, isn't this the role of the government? Like, if we need y'all, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, we feel like we need you right now. You should come and help your fellow citizen. Why? Because we are Americans. You know what I mean? So that's how some people might look at it. I see how, honestly, I see what y'all are going to say before y'all even say it. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We do know that. That's how a lot of people think already.
Isn't it more moral to require that people serve their fellow man in order to have a claim on what he produces, rather than not serve others and still have a claim? But a lot of people ask, what about giant corporations? Don't they have too much power over our lives? Not in a free market. Because in a free market, we, the people, decide the fate of companies who want our business.
That's right.
Free market capitalism will punish a corporation that does not satisfy customers or fails to use resources efficiently. Businesses, big and small, that wish to prosper are held accountable by the people who vote with their dollars.
That's right.
And again, it's the government that can undo this. Take the example of the American automobile industry. It was struggling to survive in 2009. Why? Because they were producing cars that did not please a sufficient number of their fellow men. In a free market, they would therefore have gone bankrupt. The market would have said, look, you're done. Sell your plant and equipment to somebody who can do a better job. But when Chrysler and General Motors failed, they went to Washington, D.C. and got the government to bail them out. The government bailout essentially meant to them, you don't have to be accountable to customers and stockholders. No matter how inferior your product is, and no matter how inefficient you are, we'll keep you in business by taking your fellow man's money.
I never thought of it that way. Sheesh. Wow. Okay, so this is the power of being a good teacher. Because when you're a good teacher, you can explain it in a way that others can't. Because at first I was thinking, oh, what's the problem with the bailout? I don't see no issue with no bailout. Man, I guess we have a lot to learn, brother.
When the government interferes in this way, it takes the power away from the people and rewards companies that couldn't compete successfully in the marketplace.
Wow.
That may work out very well for politicians, big unions, and corporate officers, but it seldom does for the taxpayer.
Wow.
That's why a free market system can only work if there is limited government. Limited government means you and I decide which businesses survive. That's the America that our founding fathers envisioned.
Wow. Okay. So, because we need to show people how powerful our dollars are. We spend all of our time going to work. We spend all of our time bringing in the bacon, as they say. All right. So when it comes down to where we can spend these monies, we should make those decisions. And if those companies aren't doing so well, we shouldn't expect people who don't even purchase their products at all to be responsible for saving their companies at all. Wow. Okay. Wow, man. This is kind of heavy. This is a little heavier than I'm leading on, because I'm thinking some things, but because I'm not very well versed in this topic, I'm holding myself back from saying certain things. But at the end of the day, man, I do see it's immense value in what he's saying. I think I'm gonna watch this again. I think I have to watch this again. This right here is like a training class, or like a course that people should take, man. For real, about capitalism, period.
Survive. That's the America that our founding fathers envisioned. A limited government that has only a few specifically mentioned or enumerated powers that are listed in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. It's this brilliant limited government notion that produced the wealthiest nation in history. In a free market, the ambition and the voluntary effort of citizens, not the government, drives the economy. That is, people, to the best of their ability, shaping their own destiny. Sounds pretty moral to me. I'm Walter Williams of George Mason University for Prager University.
Walter Williams just now broke it down to y'all. And hopefully y'all was picking up what he was putting down. Because this brother just, he kept it plain. He kept it plain, something like a preacher. He gave a word that everybody within earshot know they heard. They felt it. Now they gotta go out there and deal with it, man. Deal with it. And honestly, if y'all want anyone to be able to understand exactly what capitalism is, and I think it's important that a lot of people do, because most people don't. Most people do look at the people who are getting rich and chasing success, not getting rich, but just chasing success. Or just for people who understand capitalism, a lot of people look at them as greedy, very greedy and selfish, extremely selfish, and many other adjectives that I'm not going to use. But it will behoove you to share this with as many people as possible. They can see for themselves, just have a basic understanding, because I believe most people, like myself, we get our meanings of certain things from certain medias that want to guide us in a certain direction. So they give us what they want to give us, right? You grow up in a Christian household, you're not going to be taught a whole lot about the Nation of Islam or Judaism. You're just not. You're going to be taught about Christianity, right? So when you have a certain media in your periphery, and that's being fed to you day in, day out, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to teach you exactly what they want to teach you, what they want you to learn, so that they can guide you in the direction that they want you to go. So that's been my case up to this point, and I'm grateful to be learning. So y'all let me know what y'all want me to know in the comments below, and if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. All right, love y'all.